We thought it was just a typical typhoon. The Philippines are used to them. I remember looking through the windows at school at the dark sky and relentless rain. It was eerie. Things felt different. As water levels rose, the highways closed, and we were stranded in school, I was 12 years old. I remember my parents coming to pick me up at school when the water levels had receded. We waded through waist-water high and back to what was left of our home. Old family albums, tables, wooden chairs bellowed in the depths of torrential rain. But we were lucky, and I rushed to the second floor of our house, a privilege, the last island left, in Metro Manila, where most live in single-story houses. As my family's belongings slowly slipped away, I held tightly onto the loving arms of my late grandmother and parents. About 1,000 Filipinos died that evening. This was the first major super typhoon I have witnessed in my life, also known as Typhoon Kitsana. And just last July, I also experienced it again during Super Typhoon Karina. The Philippines is the country most at risk of the climate crisis. From rising sea levels to super typhoons, on average we experience about 20 typhoons every year. Like a hurricane, high-speed winds devastate areas, and storms cause coastal flooding. But the intensity of typhoons has significantly increased, with 5 of the deadliest recorded since 2006. This is due to increased carbon emissions and the consequential rise of sea levels and temperatures. And with Manila being a wetland, I witnessed firsthand how the climate crisis and urbanization can destroy them. Wetlands are one of the most productive ecosystems in the world, comparable to rainforests and coral reefs, with atmospheric maintenance being a key function. Vegetation consumes carbon dioxide and so helps moderate global climate conditions. Protecting this valuable function and the unique natural character of wetlands is now core to my work. My name is Gab Mejia, and I am a Filipino conservation photographer, storyteller, and National Geographic explorer. In 2018, I co-founded Youth Engaged in Wetlands, a global network to advocate for the conservation and protection of wetlands around the world. We consist of 30 youth with every continent represented, and we support the Ramsar Convention on the UN's intergovernmental treaty that protects wetlands. Our work shares stories about wetlands, lobbying to different governments from the Philippines to Peru for support. And in 2022, Youth Engaged in Wetlands finally ratified the Intergovernmental Youth Resolution to include youth organizations in wetland conservations and UN decision-making policy processes. But I also developed conservation-driven storytelling projects with National Geographic. For example, the Agusan Marshlands are the largest inland wetland in the Philippines, containing 15% of the Philippines' freshwater resources. I document the unjust realities of the droughts, super typhoons, and the climate crisis on the Agusan Manobo Indigenous people living at the heart of its waters. And I use journalism to expose illegal palm oil plantations, the draining of peatlands, and the unjust murders of environmentalists. The Philippines is Asia's deadliest country for environmental defenders. Despite threats to my own life and my own community, I continue to speak up. I have published documentaries and written for numerous publications from BBC to National Geographic, and have influenced local politicians and reached millions through my audiences. And last February, the Agusan Marshlands were finally recognized as part of the tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites thanks to our collective work. This will further protect the marshlands' water and the people at its heart. Like my seafaring ancestors who navigated between islands in the scars amid all the storms, I find my way through storytelling to create change and impact with and for my community. The intersection between science, culture, and creativity can help raise awareness to protect our world's water systems. We are not victims, but survivors. And share your story as a boat for our collective survival. Thank you so much.